So I was in Iowa and Wisconsin and all sorts of states.
Now, that is the state, Iowa, with an ow in the middle, right?
It does. It has an owl right in the middle of it. It is beautiful.
I've never been.
Okay, when I was there.
Got it, according to Audacity or Zoom.
I forget what it says now.
It says "got it," yeah, or like it. The button.
You click on "got it." Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no choice in the matter, really.
Does like a lady's voice say something to you?
No.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't know if that's a setting.
Yeah, maybe it's a setting I have turned off because I've been in Zoom rooms where where it does that. I could have lowered your hand for you.
Oh, okay. Try that. Oh.
Like forcing your hand down.
Like Shaq blocking my layup.
Okay, this is Rock Hard Caucus episode 131. It is January 14th of 2024. One day remains before the 2024 Iowa caucuses. What's your caucus plan, Evan?
My caucus plan is staying inside of my house like I have been for this entire weekend.
Yeah. Why haven't you left your house?
Well, it's not great out there. It's like negative 10 degrees right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we got like over a foot of snow in like the past 5 days or something like that. So if you,
I'm
know,
pretty
you
sure
know.
I got more than that.
Yeah, you guys got more, I believe.
Yeah. I can't even shovel right now. Like the snow is basically solid rock.
Yeah, I'm not trying anything. I think I can fill out my presidential preference card at a later date. You know, get my vote for Marianne Williamson in.
What about Dean Phillips?
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Dean lately. I haven't really kept up on. Didn't he?
I don't know other than he was holding an event and no one showed up.
Oh, that's
the other day.
Yeah, I was going to say I saw something about him, but I couldn't remember what it was. But it was that literally no one showed up to a campaign event.
Yeah, I tried to tweet at him and get him to come on our show. I mean, that's more effective than a zero attendance
right
public event. Dean Phillips, if you're out there, I mean, we'd be happy to talk to you. I don't know what we talk about. I think you suck and you have no relevance at all, but you're welcome to come on the show.
Didn't you try to get Marianne Williamson in 2020?
Yeah, it's an old story.
But I think there might be some old wounds there too. I think we might have gotten blown off.
For anyone who maybe hasn't heard that story, because I think I have brought it up on a podcast before. When I was doing my radio show at KRUI, her campaign manager emailed the station manager, who then forwarded it to everyone who was doing a show. And it was the summer, so hardly anyone was actually doing a radio show at that point, because it's a student radio station, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I'll talk to Marianne Williamson on the radio. So I emailed the campaign manager, who started setting something up with me and then ghosted me. And then I found out afterwards that he had jumped ship for John Delaney.
Yeah. He needed them bucks. Marianne wasn't paying good enough.
So my beef is not necessarily with Marianne, but with her campaign manager, whose name I don't remember anymore. So it's I don't know if it's much of a beef at this point.
I know she sat down with a certain disgraced podcaster who was trying to nail her down on whether she was a Marxist-Leninist, and she's not.
Yeah. But the weather thing, I don't know if you have seen this theory, but it's possible that Nikki Haley is to blame for the blizzard that we have been experiencing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I found this out from Laura Loomer.
Oh, that's a reliable source.
Yeah, credible, right?
Yeah.
And she tweeted the other day, is the deep state activating HARP to disrupt the Iowa caucus?
HARP? I haven't heard HARP in a while.
Yeah, HAARP, the I forget what the acronym stands for, but the military weather machine.
They're putting aerosols in the atmosphere to control the weather.
We all know Nikki Haley has a lot of friends in the defense industry and military-industrial complex. She's losing in Iowa, and now Iowa is set to get hit with a once-in-a-decade blizzard as Donald Trump is set to dominate the Iowa caucus. Is the deep state using HARP to rig the Iowa caucus?
And this
looks like weather manipulation to me.
How does this benefit Haley? She's got the most engaged electorate. It's like the Biden or the Bernie versus Hillary thing. Like Bernie does better in caucuses because he's got all the Bernie bros on his side. Where are the Haley heads?
Anti-democratic voter suppression makes my candidate win. And I didn't actually watch the clip, but somebody was posting a clip of Trump saying that lower turnout would actually help him, which I believe as well.
I feel like if anyone's, voters are going to be the most enthusiastic, it's got to be Trump.
Right. Yeah. So I can't really confirm that this is what's happening, but if Loomer says it, like, it's totally plausible, I'd say.
Yeah.
HARP is manipulating the weather in service of Nikki Haley. And we'll see how it turns out. She is officially polling second now with the latest Des Moines Register poll. Yeah,
20%.
Pulled just a little bit ahead of Ron D.
And then if you look at the poll numbers, like the percentage of people who are like enthusiastic about it, for Trump, it was like 70. For like DeSantis, it was like above 50. And then for Haley, it was like 30% or something. So like, I'm curious how many of her supporters are actually just like liberals who decided that they want to caucus for the Republicans this time.
Another piece of evidence in favor of that is that a plurality of her voters say that they would vote for Biden if she loses the nomination.
Yeah.
That's because also in that poll.
She's a moderate on abortion, and that's like, I guess that's the only thing. Which I guess she said some stuff about Trump, about the insurrection or whatever, right? That like people were pissed off about her. I think a long time ago, but
which is, I mean, it's cynical. Like she's saying that shit specifically to court those sort of like low info liberals. Yeah. Well, we can talk about this a little bit. She was in Iowa City just yesterday. And I mean, why would Nikki Haley visit the liberal bastion of Johnson County if not to court those dumbass libs? She was at a venue that I have worked at and I have performed at and I have attended shows at several times. A pretty small room, like I would think too small for an event like this. The number 2 GOP candidate, she's going to draw a crowd.
Well, it's Iowa City, like you said.
Yeah.
Ain't none of those godless vegan. I could go on, but I won't.
But this is a venue that like has gender neutral bathrooms.
Oh, really?
Not exactly the right fit, I would say, for a Republican presidential candidate. I don't know. I'm personally turned off by it, but I mean, the like Iowa City punk community like has done probably the majority of music events at that place.
Yeah,
they're not like Nikki Haley friendly people.
Yeah, it'd be like Nikki Haley doing a show at Gabe's.
Yeah, honestly, that would be a better fit, I think.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis at Public Space 1. You know what? Speaking of Ron DeSantis and Laura Loomer, so Loomer is in Iowa right now, and it seems like her only purpose of being here is to harass Ron DeSantis.
That's admirable.
She posted this video of her like stalking Ron DeSantis in his hotel. I'm going to show this to Evan.
Thank you.
Hey, Governor.
Thank you.
When are you going to drop out? Don't you think you've already wasted enough of people's money? $300 million? Governor DeSantis, why do you have a bubble-wrapped campaign, Ron? Are you going to be endorsing President Trump when you drop out the night of the Iowa caucus or hopefully shortly after? An absentee governor who changed the law in Florida so that you could run for president. Answer a question, Ron. I thought you were never back down. Never back down, Ron. Whatever happened to that? Don't assault me.
Wow.
There's a state of emergency in your state. Why aren't you there?
There's a state of emergency in the state of Florida that you declared and you abandoned Floridians, Ron.
Why are you hitting me? Why are you hitting me?
You wouldn't be governor if it wasn't for President Trump. You betrayed President Trump. You betrayed the people of Florida. And you're going to lose 14% in Iowa, 5% in New Hampshire, Ron. As you can see,
Find out what Forrest said.
it's always about backing down with Ron DeSantis. Hey, everybody.
Oh, actually, let me play this last part. You can hear the wind just blasting the microphone.
So I'm here in front of the Sheraton Hotel in West Des Moines, Iowa, and Ron DeSantis just got lured.
Ron DeSantis just
He
got lured. Lured, baby.
That was both lamer and more unhinged than I expected. I thought she was going to have something a little spicier than like, oh, you're just going to lose. Like, everyone knows he's going to lose. There's been like articles about like his campaign advisors about how they need to have a soft landing. So it's not about it's not about winning. It's about making his loss less embarrassing.
A graceful exit, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved his strategy in this video. People listening couldn't see what happened here, but like he walked into the hotel and was immediately like being hounded by Laura Loomer and whoever those guys were who were also hectoring him. And he and his bodyguard just like made a beeline for like the little like convenience
Yeah, a little hotel
by the
gift
front
shop.
desk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see him open the like Pepsi door and then close it, and then he just walks out with nothing. It's like, what are you doing? He's panicking. He's just like, I gotta get away from these people. I'm gonna hide in here.
Well, he also got trolled at that campaign event where he got given like a participation trophy or like a ribbon or something from some guy who was just there to give him a hard time, I guess.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Must be a pastime for conservative influencers.
Yeah, I mean, who can blame him? He's an easy target.
Yeah,
everyone
that's true.
loves to see him like get bullied.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's a punching bag. He's fun.
Yeah, his little platform boots.
It's really funny. You know, like 3 years ago, people were saying like, yeah, he's the one. He's being poised to take up the mantle of Trump, and he is just getting fucking stomped.
Yep. Totally astroturfed. I mean, it was just like, oh, he hits the social conservative issues harder than Trump. Well, it turns out those are very alienating, and like people are not like that motivated by it other than like a very, the super evangelical sect.
Yes, that's a perfect segue, because while we're talking about DeSantis, I should pull this up. Evangelicals. Bob Vanderplatz, the number one evangelical in the state of Iowa. He's one of Ron's most fervent supporters. And he had an opinion piece in the Des Moines Register that came out on the 9th, just a few days ago. You will love, I don't know, have you read this?
No, I have not.
Okay, you will love his plan here, his persuasive technique. The headline reveals it all. Caucusing for Ron DeSantis is a good way to be a friend to Donald Trump.
Ah, yeah. I mean, that's like that's even Vivek has gone on that path now. He's saying that you have to vote for him because otherwise Nikki Haley will finish second, and then like she's like the anointed by the elites or whatever. Once Trump drops out, that she'll be the Manchurian candidate or whatever.
Right. But I mean, no one has any better of a chance of beating him than they did in 2016.
Yeah.
And things were a little bit harder for him that time, but this time it's like no competition at all. Anyway, Bob Vanderplatz, he's the CEO of the Family Leader, which is very no bias here in the Des Moines Register's description of the Family Leader, an Iowa-based nonprofit working at the intersection of faith and government.
Yeah, that's very
journalistically
whitewashed
neutral
way of saying what they do.
They were a big part of huge backlash to the legalization of gay marriage in Iowa, constant anti-abortion, all the evangelical social stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, this is Bob's attempt at persuading.
And he's also like
voter.
called 5 out of 6 of the last Republican caucuses correctly, I think.
Is that right? Yeah, I mean
something like that. Yeah, like Huckabee. But I mean, you got to think about who won the Iowa caucuses,
right?
Like
yeah,
Huckabee, Santorum,
and Cruz. Yeah,
and Cruz. So like,
the evangelical choice has won the Iowa Republican caucus for a while. Yeah, and he's a big part of that. Although Steve King was also a kingmaker before, and now he's going rogue and supporting Vivek. Okay, this is Bob persuading the Republican voter to turn away from Trump. But he knows that they love Trump. So this is his like soft push. I met Donald Trump in Trump Tower in New York City 12 years ago. Immediately, we struck up a friendship that went beyond presidential politics. While I voted for the former president in 2016 and again in 2020, I never endorsed him. Now in 2024, I remain a friend to him while endorsing Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. While some may question my friendship to the former president while endorsing his opponent, the proverbs say that you can trust the wounds of a friend.
Is that what the proverbs say? I don't know. I'm not up on the proverbs.
I don't know which proverb that is. He didn't cite book and verse there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means either. You can trust the wounds of a friend.
I guess because they know you better. It kind of makes sense, I think.
So is he saying that he is wounding Donald Trump by endorsing his opponent? Whose wounds are they? Who is being wounded?
I guess
wounder?
Trump is being wounded by him failing to endorse him, despite not endorsing him before, but campaigning for him anyway.
But we are friends, all right?
And they are friends.
My endorsement, along with my vote for DeSantis, come from a friend doing what's best for the GOP, best for America, and ... best for Trump.
Okay. So yeah, he's saying that, Trump needs to listen to him. It's a warning. It's a warning to Trump. He needs to do better on, I don't know, pretending that he cares about abortion.
Yeah, he says voting for DeSantis is in the best interest of Trump. As candidate Vivek Ramaswamy frequently comments, the system is not going to let Trump anywhere near the White House again. The system is focused and determined to destroy all things Trump. So he's saying if Trump wins the primary, he will not win the election. I
mean, I think most of the Republican caucus electorate is going to take those odds,
Yeah. I mean, that's what the polls
clearly
show, And the rest of it is just him talking up DeSantis, and it's not that interesting. But I took this as, I don't know, it's not sincere, obviously. He knows that Ron is not going to win.
Yeah.
But do you think he really believes that Trump cannot win the election either?
It's definitely more of a risk. If Haley did somehow become the nominee, then she would definitely have a better chance to win than Trump would. Does that mean that Trump's chances are poor? I mean, I think it's obviously, I think everyone pretty much agrees it's plausible that he could win, if not likely, but
coin flip at best. Yeah.
But I don't know I don't know. I thought he was older than he is. He's only 60. Bob Vanderplatz, that is. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking this just might be the last gasp of his relevancy where he's trying to change course of the Republican Party. But it's way too late for that, obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and even there's not even any different. I mean, Trump is DeSantis or Haley would be horrible in the same ways that Trump is.
Yeah. I mean, effectively, it's the same thing, no matter what. Trump is just a magnetic personality, and he's got the spectacle in his favor.
Yeah.
It's fun to support him. It's not fun to support these other people.
Yeah.
It struck me as a bit of a Warren 2020 argument. They'll never let Bernie Sanders be the president. Why not go for this thing that's kind of similar, but is less of a...
Yeah.
There's less controversy and baggage attached.
Less threatening to normies.
Yeah, and it's going to work just as well. And maybe they'll be right. Maybe the Borg will assimilate everyone into, excluding Trump at a pivotal moment, and he'll be denied the win again. I don't know.
I'm not making too many predictions. I feel like there's going to be some October, maybe January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August,
this
September,
is the year
October.
Of surprise.
Surprises, yeah. Could be any time.
It's going to be surprise after surprise. I don't think they can derail the Trump train, no matter how many surprises they deploy.
No, it does. It feels like it's the fact that he's already has a presidential campaign that's already on the ballot. well, in most states. Like, it's like, how are they gonna? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. Who? God knows what. It's going to be crazy, no matter what, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they've been able to exclude him from primary ballots in a few states. I forget which ones. Colorado
and Maine, I believe.
Yeah,
I think so.
Are those the only two so far?
That I know of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's going to be like a legal situation, but it might be too late for him to be able to stop them from excluding him from the ballot. I don't know. But it would be like a higher bar to clear to exclude him from a general election ballot, I think, right?
Yeah, probably. But I mean, like, also, like, the actual legality of it, like, the 14th Amendment says that, you know, if you cause insurrection against the United States, that you're not allowed to run for office. So it's like, it's clear cut. He's not eligible to run. But there's all these, you know, legal arguments. I don't even know what the legal arguments are, honestly. But
by the letter of the law, yes. But he would have to be
there's no way that he
of something, right?
I don't think that's even what the law actually, or the amendment actually even says. It just says, like, insurrection. So I guess that's maybe what some of the argument is. He hasn't actually been convicted of anything.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think it has been legally established as like an insurrection, right? Because some people have been punished for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, it's over my head, but I do think there could be like a second January, like if he is somehow invalidated from ballots or loses some court challenge or some criminal thing pops up before the election, that there's definitely going to be like a second January 6th of people like protesting and freaking, like there's no way to break it to Trump fans softly that he's not going to be the president again. Like they're going to freak out again. I don't know if it's going to be as widespread or what, or, you know, obviously it even happens, but yeah.
I mean, the bureaucracy, like literally removing him from the ballot is like only a confirmation of their conspiratorial beliefs.
Right. Yeah. I do think it's like absolutely true that there's like a large segment of like the national security apparatus that like does not want him to be president under any circumstances, just as because of it's just a national security risk.
Yeah. There is a deep state that is opposed to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are also, there are factions of, you know, the deep state that are pro-Trump as well.
Yeah. But it's not even like, a deep state. It's just like bureaucracy. It's just like,
the deep state is sort of like a sinister
decision makers
sounding term for something that's pretty mundane overall.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously decisions they make kill thousands of people.
Yeah. 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 They are sinister. It's just that you don't, when you hear the term
that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Deep state, in your mind, you don't see like a dude sitting at a desk.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about that. Let's talk about eggs.
All right, that's better.
Let's take a quick break from the horse race to discuss eggs. This came up because in the Senate, John Fetterman of Pennsylvania and our own Joni Ernst are teaming up to introduce legislation in the Senate. This is called the Consistent Egg Labels Act.
So you eat one Casey's breakfast pizza and then you do this?
This shit's not real
that
eggs.
That is not eggs.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I've noticed some inconsistency in the labels on the eggs on the shelves at my local supermarket. From what I can tell, this is some sort of anti-vegan thing.
Yeah.
Like somebody got tricked into eating a vegan egg alternative.
If you go to the grocery store and you cannot figure out which ones are the standard eggs and which ones are the vegan eggs, which like half the time are just in like a pint of like milk, like a milk carton.
Right. Not even like physical eggs anymore.
This is where I'm going to go libertarian and say I don't think the government needs to be involved in this.
Well, they're already labeled pretty straightforwardly.
Yeah. It's usually a marketing angle that they want you to know about if they're not real eggs.
Yeah. I didn't read the full text of the bill, but it defines an egg as like it's got a yolk and it was at some point it came out of a chicken's ass and it at some point in its existence it was coated in a hard calcium shell. That's the part that I did read. And yes, it does say that it came out of a chicken's ass in the text of the bill.
Oh, really?
No, it doesn't
It says
say ass.
Oh, okay. Dang.
It says like
Cloaca.
it doesn't say that either. It's something like ovarian, some kind of derivative of that word. But this was actually like written by members of Congress Elise Stefanik and Susan Wild.
Oh yeah, Elise Stefanik. She's
nuts, right?
A case, yeah. She's been on the forefront of the college students in Palestine suppression campaign.
Right. She was a big part of the Harvard president getting fired.
Yep.
She was a spearhead of that, and also is pro January 6th. I don't know a whole lot about this person, but she's like a Republican from New York who has drifted much further right than she appeared to be when she was first elected.
There's some parallels there to Mr. Fetterman. He's also been a lot further right to how he portrayed himself. And is also a bloodthirsty freak when it comes to Israel and Palestine.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know anything at all about Susan Wild. I did not look her up.
But, no idea.
A member of Congress from Pennsylvania who is a Democrat. So that's possibly how Fetterman got roped into this. But this is a very important piece of bipartisan legislation. You know, they got a Republican and a Democrat in both houses introducing this. I was trying to think of like what are products that are available at stores that portray themselves as eggs but are not eggs. Mm-hmm. So this is going to fuck up Easter real bad if this goes through.
Oh, true. Hey, I just looked at top 10 states that produce the most eggs. Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Right.
I wonder whether there's another connection here.
Could there be economic motivations to this?
Yeah.
They are in the pocket of Big Egg. Not Big Ag, Big Egg.
Mm-hmm.
Cadbury cream eggs. You know the, I don't know if you've ever had these, but there's Reese's, like, holiday.
Oh, yeah.
They're not
those
peanut
the
butter
best.
Cups. They're more like peanut butter blobs.
Those are the best Reese's that you can get, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Best chocolate to peanut butter ratio.
Yeah. The ratio is perfect. Yeah.
Good ratio.
It's more peanut butter than you get in the standard cup.
It's more
and
like
the chocolate
those like
is softer as well.
Peanut butter pixies that you get. We got in grade school. If you ever remember those, it was just like they just had like a sheet, like a baking sheet, and they would just put peanut butter with chocolate on top, and then just cut them in little squares.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, peanut butter pixies. It's like I don't have like a full memory of that, but I feel like I'm accessing like a corrupted partial file in my in my
Call
brain.
us if you remember peanut butter pixies in your school lunchroom.
Yeah, call us at 319-849-8733 if you remember peanut butter pixies. Maybe we can try to restore the file in my own brain by providing files from other systems. Anyway, yeah, there's seasonal Reese's. So like the springtime peanut butter blob is an egg.
Yeah.
And then there's like
they got the
there's hearts
trees. They got pumpkins.
like around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a football during my football season.
Oh yeah, they got sued over that because
Really?
on the package it had like laces on the football or something.
Right, which is a trademark.
No, it wasn't that. It was that people expected that that the actual chocolates were going to have like decorations.
Oh shit!
on them
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some lady sued because it didn't really look like a football.
Yeah.
I was thinking that it was going to be like the NFL overzealous protection of their copyright.
Oh, it was the pumpkins too, I guess, or maybe just the pumpkins. But
I
they
did
had like
hear about the
they had
pumpkin
like a
one,
jack o' lantern carved
Mm-hmm.
into it, and they were upset that there was no actual jack o' lantern carved into the chocolate.
You open the package and it's just a blob.
It's just
like
a whole pumpkin.
They all look the same. It's basically just like a vaguely.
It looks like something. It looks like a turd. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much. Reese's peanut butter turds available available on your favorite holidays.
yeah.
They may be able to escape the Consistent Egg Labels Act enforcement by not really looking very much like an egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, there's Kinder eggs. You know about those,
Kinder
right?
eggs. Yeah, those are good.
Are already the victim of overregulation here in the States. The Kinder
Oh, really?
Egg.
The candies, they had to put them, like, isn't that what it was?
They
People were choking on the toys inside them?
Yeah. Kinder Egg is like an egg-shaped chocolate thing that's hollow inside, and there's a little toy in it. And they were big in like the UK, I think.
Yeah.
But here, our children are too stupid, and they eat their chocolate eggs whole. And they swallow the trinkets inside, and so we can't be trusted with the Kinder Eggs. So whatever we get here is not a real Kinder Egg. They've changed it somehow so it's less of a death sentence.
Death by Kinder Eggs. I'm sure Fetterman eats a lot of eggs, too.
Yeah, he looks like an egg man.
He's not beating the ogre allegations anytime soon.
Here's the specific from Elise Stefanik's official government page. A food can be labeled an egg or egg product only if the food contains as a primary ingredient or is derived from the reproductive output of avian poultry species, including an albumen or yolk that was encased in a calcium-based shell. Albumen? I don't even know what that is.
It's like a protein, I think, that makes it all stick together when it gets hot.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, eggs will be more strictly defined by the government soon, potentially. Get your fake eggs in while you can, folks. They may no longer be available soon, or they'll have to market them as something else. You'll just have to describe it by consistency. Nondescript, doughy. You probably can't use the word dough. That's probably
doughy,
strictly defined as well. It's not doughy either.
Yeah, eggs are. Yeah, they got to be hard to make the fake eggs.
Yeah, I don't know how you imitate the consistency.
Yeah, that's some real innovation under capitalism. Is all the different types of fake eggs.
And now they're being punished for their innovation.
I know for egg whites, you can just use the like aquafaba, which is just like the water that comes in the can of like garbanzo beans or chickpeas.
Right.
And you can whip it up into like meringue.
Mm-hmm. Good luck to fake eggs in the future. There's too much fucking news this week. How about the Kim Reynolds alternate Twitter account?
Man, that's another fun story. I mean, not really, but it's ridiculous.
It's interesting.
It's absurd.
Like I have a lot of questions about why any of this happened. This was big enough to be a New York Times story. Okay? This isn't just like local news. This was a national story the other day.
Inexplicably. I mean, there's like a million stories that they could cover in Iowa that would be a lot more interesting.
Especially
than this
right
one.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you only wanted to focus on the surface level electoral bullshit, there's a lot to write about now. But Shane Goldmacher and Nicholas Nahamis, he's got Hamas in his last name.
Oh my God. And he writes for the New York Times?
Yeah.
They haven't fired him yet?
Careful, Nicholas. They wrote this piece called Kim Reynolds has another account at Kimberl 2689036 and opinions about Donald Trump. So someone discovered that Kim Reynolds apparently has an alt account. It has, in my opinion, been mistakenly referred to as a burner account.
Yeah.
But to me, a burner account has to be anonymous. You have to have some attempt at protecting your own identity. And this was the opposite of that.
Yeah. It
doesn't really
make any sense.
The username was, again, Kimberl 2689036.
Which is like one of those auto-generated ones. Like you put in your name, Kimberly, and it creates a handle for you.
Yeah, Kimberly's already taken. Here you go. But her display name was Kimberly Reynolds, full name.
Yep.
And her profile picture was her and her husband at like a baseball game or something.
Yeah. And I tried to find, like I searched to try to find any evidence of that picture being public or posted anywhere else. And I couldn't do it. So that's one piece of evidence in the pro column.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I should say that as this was, emerging, as this story was spreading, we were skeptical about whether this was real. Like my inclination is that the New York Times is probably not going to put something out like this unless they have pretty conclusive evidence, but when they first put the story out, there was like no confirmation.
Well, and it just didn't make any sense because, like you said, the whole burner account thing, it's like doesn't seem like she was particularly trying to hide it.
Right. Yeah. And so Pat Reinert of the Iowa starting line has a very extensive thread of screenshots that he took of things that this account was retweeting and liking, because also suspiciously, the account was suspended immediately when this New York Times article came out. It wasn't deleted, it was suspended.
Yeah. Which also leads you to believe that it could be like an impersonator or something, because that's one of the few things that Twitter will actually suspend you for these days.
Right, yeah. But if it had been somebody impersonating her, they probably would have done something like out of character.
Yeah. Unless it was just like, I don't know, some conservative mom who just thought it was like fun to pretend to be Kim Reynolds.
Yeah. So what makes this a worthwhile story, according to some journalists, is that the account was a little bit more candid than Kim Reynolds has been like as a public figure. But wasn't really sharing their own opinion very much, mostly just retweeting stuff and liking very far right bullshit.
It seems like I do think it is actually her account at this point, considering
I do now,
like the folks who follow it being, you know, high ranking GOP folks. But I mean, it just seems like it's just a personal account. I don't think it was like she really went to any effort to hide it. And honestly, like, yeah, there's some stuff like that is more candid and like her likes being like more rabidly anti-trans, but like who really needed to like anyone who's been following that is already pretty aware of where Kim Reynolds falls on that. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know, what if she like planted this in plain sight just to like make a fervor over it and then be like, the mainstream media is trying to attack me over my personal Twitter account that, I mean, I don't know, that might be conspiratorial, but and I don't think she said anything.
No, she hasn't even responded to requests for comment about it. It's like nothing to her.
Yeah, but why would it? Like, I don't think she's going to be particularly embarrassed by anything on there.
Yeah. Well, when the article first came out, it didn't say anything about how they confirmed it was her, and then they updated it to say this: a person familiar with the matter confirmed it was her account. So that's like as much as they've given us. But again, Pat Reinert said definitively, like, this is her. He had been following it for months. He'd been like keeping a record of like everything the account had done. And then Ty Rushing, also of Iowa starting line, tweeted like a list of mutual followers that the account had, which to me is like the most convincing evidence. For example, the biggest one I thought was former Nebraska governor and current U.S. Senator Pete Ricketts was a mutual follower of this account, and Bob Vanderplaats, who we were just talking about.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting speculation, we were talking about this with our friends in a group chat, and the idea that she created this account as her like group DM account, so she could use her official like governor thing for it. That's what the New York Times really needs to get into, is like the private discords of the like far right politicians in America. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of those like Pepe faces on Discord that are all working for Congress people.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, nothing that was on that account was really outside of the bounds of like her public positions on things. So really not that exciting to me.
The main story was that she said, like, she posted pictures of Ron DeSantis's family and Trump's family and said, like, I don't even know what the quote was, but it was a retweet. Most of the things were just retweets. And like, we're just going off of retweets and likes, which is like, I'm sorry, I failed to see how this is newsworthy, but
the thing you were referring to was an image of DeSantis with his wife and children, and then another of Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago surrounded by like young, hot women.
Yeah.
And the text read, "The contrast is overwhelming."
Yeah.
The contrast being like, I mean, Trump is a cool guy hanging out with chicks.
That doesn't go over well in Iowa, though. You got to be wholesome. You have to
be like a xenophobic, transphobic freak with a wife and children.
Yeah, with as many children as you can possibly have.
you can't be like a chill party dude.
Yeah.
Who also is a xenophobic,
You can't
piece of
you
shit.
can't host beauty pageants in your free time.
Anyway, Reynolds was already sort of, I don't know, breaking the mold by endorsing in the caucuses, which I don't think a governor has ever really done.
Yeah.
In Iowa. Branstad anti-endorsed Cruz. That's like the only thing.
I don't remember that.
I know that because of Steve King's book. I
okay.
remember it because of Steve King's book. Because that really pissed him off. Okay, so the caucus is tomorrow. We got to talk more about the horse race. The Des Moines Register published opinion pieces from every still active GOP candidate. And let me just double check that they haven't put out any more since I last checked.
Got late comers? Anyone who's announced in the past week?
I did read all these. It's not really worth our time to like go through them one by one on the podcast, but the headlines sort of show you a bit of contrast between the candidates. Nothing has changed. Trump is winning. The rest of them are competing for we're not Trump.
Yeah.
Help, please. So they each published 2 of these opinion pieces in the past week. And there was nothing from any of the Democratic candidates. So that's not even worth pretending is a relevant competition at all. No Biden, no Marianne Williamson, no Dean Phillips. What they have to say is not important to Iowans. And yeah, that's right. You're correct. So the headlines of Trump's pieces are, number 1, this is how I will end Joe Biden's border disaster on day 1. And his second one is, this is our last chance to save America. So he's riding high. He's number 1. And he's basically, obviously hitting immigration first because that's like what got him where he is in politics.
Yeah.
And portraying himself as like uniquely ready to be the guy.
Make America great again.
That's his message. Yeah, yeah. It's nothing new. He's playing the hits because that's all he needs to do. You can read a bit of desperation in Ron DeSantis' pieces. The first one, immigrants are overwhelming us. I will control the border. So, saying the same shit as Trump, but trying to be like, I'm more serious about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the nerd. Help. I know what to do, but for real. And his second piece is, I have won tough battles, and I'm running for you to do the same for America. Which is, again, basically saying the same shit as Trump, but in more of a whiny sort of tone.
What tough battles has he won against, what was this, Andrew Gillum?
Here, I'll pull it up. Getting the country back on track is going to take a president who doesn't cave to the left, the media, the big donors, or the establishment. It will take a president who knows how to fight, has a record of winning tough battles, and can lead the great American comeback. Former Navy officer, he says he is. And these are the battles, I think, he's referring to as Florida governor. In the Sunshine State, we got government out of the way to create the best economy in the nation. We broke the back of the teachers union and implemented universal school choice. We refused to bend the knee to Fauciism and kept Florida free during the pandemic. We removed Soros-backed local prosecutors from their posts to keep families safe. Oof. And we didn't back down when big business sought to target our values. So that's Disney, I think, right?
Yeah, that's definitely big business. But he's talking about Disney being not too woke. That's insane.
Those are his tough
I don't think
battles.
those are particularly tough battles. I think he basically like got the media spotlight by, I guess, being better at marketing himself and like getting enough big donors to endorse him and sign on. Give me a break,
His tough battles are being as much of a fascist as it is possible to be as the governor of Florida.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Nikki Haley, how is she distinguishing herself? What I've basically seen from her is like she is more normal seeming than Ron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
absolutely true.
Yeah, she's trying to be the alternative to Trump, who is less irritating and desperate.
Yeah, for sure.
In addition to her intentional attempts to court clueless liberals the headlines of her pieces are called "Ending Reckless Spending Will Boost Our Economy and Stop Inflation." And we have to stop the chaos unfolding under Joe Biden. So that's pretty boring, standard, old school Republican shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the chaos is, crime, which has been down, and trying to tie him to Israel-Palestine stuff, which... Is that what it is? I don't know. I haven't clicked on it yet.
I don't know. Let's see. We have to stop the chaos.
Well, I mean, in a
unfolding
general
under Joe
sense,
Biden.
she's just gonna say, like, America doesn't have enough strong leadership under Biden, and like all these Houthis are going hard.
Yeah, I think she wrote this like right before stuff ramped up with the Houthis. But in paragraph 1, there's war in Ukraine and Israel. So you're right, she did bring up Israel. And that's Biden's fault. All this has happened under Biden's watch. He's the author of this chaos. The chaos being the southern border, violence on our city streets, so the crime thing like you brought up.
Yeah.
Ooh, hatred on college campuses.
Oh, yeah.
Inflation, trillions of dollars in national debt. Ukraine and Israel, China, Russia, and Iran are exploiting our weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all Joe Biden's fault. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not a Joe Biden defender, but he has kind of limited input on a lot of that.
Yeah.
And really should be doing the complete opposite of what he's doing in most of those cases.
Yeah. It's very old school. Ending reckless spending will boost our economy and stop inflation. I mean,
the national debt, we're leaving that for our kids. Our kids are going to have to deal with all this national debt when we're gone. I don't
know. It doesn't even seem like conservatives particularly care about that anymore, or like don't make it a talking point very much.
Yeah, except for Nikki Haley, because she's trying to bring us back to our roots in the Republican Party.
Yeah. I think we found that reckless spending has actually boosted the economy in many cases in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and 20th.
Not that matters to them, but
no. She's trying to say, like, remember before there was Trump? Let's just pretend this never happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically her pitch. Vivek is kind of the opposite. He's taking the opposite strategy, I think. He is embracing what Trump opened up in electoral politics, and he's trying to take it to the next level. I've said it before, he's trying to court the Christian white supremacist vote on hard mode.
Yeah.
But he's also adopting this niche in Iowa politics, which I think is a good move, because no one else is going to touch this. Eminent domain for CO2 pipelines is wrong and unconstitutional. So the first piece he put out is this very specific thing focused on one particular issue ongoing, which has, cross ideological appeal. So a good move from him. And part of his Steve King endorsement, that's Steve King's thing. That's how he ended up in the Vivek camp. Oh, they also spelled his name wrong. I just noticed that.
Oh, wow.
That maybe that's been fixed since I caught. No?
Nope.
That's really great. Yeah, good for him.
I got it right in the byline, but wrong in the headline.
January 3rd, the Des Moines Register headline, Vivek Ramasamy. They skipped the W, and that has not yet been corrected. Very disrespectful to the number 4 candidate.
Borderline racism.
I'd say it is. And then his second piece is, we are in a 1776 moment, and I have a vision for America.
I can hear those little kids on the fifes right now.
Yeah. Nikki Haley is appealing to the Republican Party of, 2005, and Vivek is appealing to the American Revolution.
Yeah, the true patriots out there.
Yeah, the slave-owning founding fathers. He's going all the way back. Now, what about these last two? The long shots. The longest of long shots. Asa Hutchinson, governor of Arkansas? A guy is so boring, I literally cannot remember who he is.
Sounds right.
He was the 46th governor of Arkansas from 2015 to 2023. All right. So Asa Hutchinson, a guy no one is paying any attention to. His piece is in the Des Moines Register. His final pitches to the Republican voter. America should reward work. I know how to empower our workers.
Does that have anything to do with paying them more money or offering them more benefits?
The word wage does not appear in this article. He says we create new good-paying jobs every day, or we must create new good-paying jobs every day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't talk about people who are currently working old jobs.
Let's see. The word benefit appears a couple of times. Every citizen can contribute to and benefit from our nation's prosperity. And in the other appearance of the word benefit, we must also recognize that legal immigration benefits America, particularly when it comes to our workforce. So people are allowed to come into the country as long as they're productive, low-paid, manual laborers.
Yep. Wow, that's got a lot of bipartisan support.
Yeah. The moderate immigration position. This guy's downright liberal.
Yeah.
And then his second piece is perhaps the vaguest possible. It's called Renew Hope and Rebuild the American Dream.
Yeah. American Dream. Another thing that's, I don't think many politicians are even trying to invoke anymore.
A dream that for too many seems out of reach. So he's sort of acknowledging that that's not a real thing anymore. Oh, he used to be the head of the DEA?
Boo. Get the fuck out of here.
And I read this before. So again, Asa Hutchinson is the type of guy where you can learn about him,
more
but
than
it
once.
will not stick. It will not stick.
Yeah.
He's sort of, I mean, again, no one's paying attention to him, but he's sort of doing the same like Nikki Haley type thing. Like, but he seems to be actually a little bit more of a moderate in reality, but moderates do not have any relevancy to the GOP electorate.
No, not in a primary.
No.
Barely in a general.
Right. Okay, so, and then my favorite of the remaining candidates, Ryan motherfucking BINKY.
Ryan fucking BINKY. Let's go.
I'm going to pull these up and I'm probably going to read a little bit from them because this is the guy I'm voting for tomorrow. So I got to try to keep this fresh in my mind to know why I'm doing this. First off, he says Bidenomics is widening the wealth gap, and we have to stop it.
Hell yeah! There you go.
Well,
that's the best.
That's something I care
best
about.
Headline. Best headline we've had so far.
But he still is very focused on dumb conservative stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
A glance at today's economic snapshot puts the bleak picture into focus. Total household debt increased to $17 trillion. Credit card balances rose to a high of $1 trillion, up 30% in 30 months. Homelessness increased by 12% to its highest reported level. Okay, so those three things are relevant to me as a regular citizen of the United States. Mm-hmm. Those are statistics that those matter to a real person. But then he goes on to the debt soared past the $32 trillion mark. We can't get through a single fiscal year anymore without adding $1 trillion in debt. Debt service is projected to be the federal government's largest program when it becomes larger than Medicare and Social Security in 2044 and 2050. How can we solve this? You may be asking yourself. What's Ryan BINKY's plan to save the American taxpayer from this ballooning debt? Here we go. I've put together an economic plan to attack the deficit. Oh, damn it.
Flat tax. Let's
go. Bring the budget back into balance in 7 years. The deficit and the fucking balanced budget. What world do you live in? Transparency and accountability must be restored to the way that Washington spends taxpayers' money. Wait, what is the plan?
Cut. Definitely not increase revenue. Cut expenses. That's the only way. It's the only way to balance the budget. Couldn't possibly increase taxes on anyone.
Yeah. Reining in spending and putting an end to our government's excessive borrowing is fundamental to grow the U.S. economy, shore up our regional banks, and save the U.S. dollar's role as the world's reserve currency. So I guess that's the plan, is reining in spending and borrowing. That's it.
All right.
I almost forgot this guy was a Republican. This one I love. This has no substance at all. The second piece that he put out. Iowa, it's time to believe and vote for something different. The number one question I receive on the campaign trail is, Ryan, why are you still in this race when so many others have left?
I thought the number one question he gets is, what the fuck?
Who? And let's take a moment to pour one out for those we have lost. Perry Johnson, of course, our number
Perry.
one. Doug Burgum, who endorsed Donald Trump today at an event in Indianola.
Did he?
He did. Francis Suarez. He seemed like a nice guy, I guess.
Yeah. Plundered his city with Bitcoin. That's all I remember about him.
Chris Christie, who did not campaign in Iowa a single time.
Loser. Boo.
Who else did we lose?
Larry Elder.
Larry Elder. Yep. The racist. What did he call himself? The black face of white supremacy. He said some newspaper called him that. Yeah. And if we can't remember them off the top of our heads, they don't matter. Obviously, we dove deeper than anyone else ever
Tim
should.
Scott.
Oh, there you go. There's another one. Okay, so the number one question he gets asked is, why are you still running when so many other people who have, a little bit more of a reason to be running for president have dropped out? My answer is that our nation is on fire. It is on fire economically, spiritually, and culturally. If you had a loved one in a building that is burning and you had a small percentage chance of rescuing them, would you go in? Does it matter what the odds are? We are all his loved one, about to die in a burning building. And he loves us so much that he's willing to risk his own life to rescue us.
That's crazy. There's some serious biblical parallels there. He doesn't want us to be left behind.
Of course, you go in regardless of the odds. That is why I'm still in this race. Our children have no hope on our current path, and everyone knows it. That's why I am running in when others are running out.
Oh, shit.
The cowards. Bailing on the burning building. The next question I receive often is it possible for you to win?
How's he answer this one? That's gotta be a tough one.
Do you think he answers honestly? What's the honest answer?
No.
No. But here's his avoidance of that bad word, no. Well, God has been doing the impossible forever. So yes, it is possible for me to win. Gideon, Moses, and David all show us that impossible is God's specialty. I think you said there were biblical implications before, right?
Yeah. He's hoping for a miracle.
Yeah. Who's he appealing to? Who in the Des Moines Register readership is reading the sentence, Gideon, Moses, and David all show us that impossible is God's specialty? There's a very particular voter he's appealing to there.
Yeah. If you go to a church that could double as a school, then he might be a Ryan Binkley supporter.
What is the story of Gideon? Who's Gideon? I don't remember. He was a military leader, judge, and prophet whose calling and victory over the Midianites are recounted in Judges 6 through 8 of the book of Judges in the Hebrew Bible. So that's maybe a bit of a deep cut.
Old Testament.
Oh, yeah, they all are. Gideon, Moses, and David. Those are all Old Testament guys, yeah. Moses, I think people know a little bit better. Moses is the number one there. David's probably number two, and Gideon maybe a distant third.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a Gideon Bible.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah. But now, Iowa, it's up to you. Oh, so we are taking the role of God now? If we have learned anything from decades of repeated failures, it is that the usual politicians cannot break away from politics as usual. If we want something different, we have to vote for someone different. Despite the polls and the pundits, I know people want change. I know we want leaders who will restore our faith in God, freedom, and each other. That is why I'm still running for president.
Dang. You're going to run into that caucus precinct on Monday with your sword held high.
Yeah. If turnout is low enough, I may be able to get Ryan Binky one delegate.
Yeah. Are you prepared to give a speech on his behalf?
See, that's something that I thought maybe we could take a stab at now. So I didn't finish reading this, but it goes on pretty much the same as what you're reading here. Just sort of a lot of fluff. It's sort of like a last-minute pep talk from your coach while you're losing the game.
Yeah.
Like, there's no chance you're coming back from this, but he's trying to get you just enough energy to just make it to the end and lose gracefully.
Monty Williams on the Detroit Pistons. That's his last speech to help them avoid losing the most games in NBA history.
So, a Twitter user, Justin B. Bro, when I tweeted about caucusing for Ryan Binky, he said, if you pick a less popular candidate, they'll let you speak on their behalf. Golden opportunity. And I should have thought of this before, but yeah, if I go in there to vote for Ryan Binky, no one else is going to speak in favor of Ryan Binky.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
could talk about him to a group of local Republicans. Now, I think when I get there, I'm going to have to read the room a little bit and decide if I am risking my personal safety by doing this. But what can I say about Ryan Binky that will appeal to these people, do you think?
You have God on your side. You're a messenger of God. Ryan Binky spoke to you in front of the megachurch crowd, and he told you like it is, and now you're here to spread his gospel.
My fellow Republicans, I am here on a mission from our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Ryan Binky is a man of God. He is the leader of a church whose name I maybe will have to write down if I want to cite it in my caucus speech. You may look at the poll numbers and say, this is impossible. This man is polling at 0%. But did Gideon ever say this is impossible when he led an army against the Midianites in Judges 6 through 8?
6 through 8.
He did not. And now we all learned the story of Gideon in Sunday school and definitely remember who Gideon is and what he did for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. That's pretty inspiring, I think.
Yeah. Or I could say, you know the story of David and Goliath.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
You and me, we're David. And Donald Trump is Goliath. He's a mean, old, tall man.
Yeah.
Who is about to beat us to death.
6'3", 215 pounds.
He's about to kick our little asses, and all we have is a little slingshot. But engraved on that slingshot is the name Ryan Binky. And what we're here to do tonight in this caucus room is to fire a pebble through that Binky slingshot right into the eye of the giant.
Yeah. On the way to freedom. I was trying to remember that because he was
way
the
to freedom.
WTF hats.
He's the WTF man. Yeah. WTF with Ryan Binky, the number one failed presidential candidate podcast. WTF.
Yeah.
The path that pebble takes as it soars directly into the brain of the giant Goliath Trump, that is the way to freedom, is the arc of that pebble.
Wow.
And tonight on Martin Luther King Day, we must remember the arc of the moral universe.
Man, I think you got that on lock.
Should I just riff?
MLK Day. Yeah, I think you should just riff. You should just watch a bunch of his megachurch addresses, like his speeches.
Yeah, yeah.
And just emulate his style. And bring Ashley there. You should have her dress up. And unfortunately, you don't have any kids to show off, but
maybe I could borrow some.
Borrow some kids, yeah. Borrow Ira.
I bet everyone will go along with this plan.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the plan, everybody. If you also live in an urban area that maybe is heavily Democratic, you may have an opportunity to throw a wrench in the works and get some delegates for Ryan Binkley. I want to shock the world and have Ryan Binkley win 1% of the Iowa caucuses instead of 0%.
Hey, listen, you said he's polling at 0%, buddy. He's polling at 1%, which is an mathematically unquantifiable jump.
That's infinitely more than 0.
Yeah.
We can increase that another infinity % if we all get serious and go to the caucus tomorrow night in sub-zero weather and just spend a couple hours being completely miserable, surrounded by backwards
people that you hate.
idiots.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'll report back next time we record an episode. Okay,
you're gonna need it.
Before we go, in addition to tomorrow night's caucus, if you are a hyper-local listener, if you live in the same small city, Coralville, that I do, there's a city council meeting on January 16th. And if you listen to the last episode of I Hear I See Radio that was on this podcast feed just a few days ago, I talked to another Coralville resident, Tara McGovern, and the two of us, along with a lot of other local activists, decided that our small city should follow suit with Iowa City and get something out there expressing support for a ceasefire. This is say what you will about it, but there's a growing number of cities that are making these resolutions. And if there's enough public sentiment being expressed officially in this way, will it have some kind of impact? Maybe. It's worth
It'll put you on the
right?
record.
Yeah.
It'll put you on the record.
At the very least. Well, we went into this expecting to be basically brushed off. We didn't think that our city council would really want to weigh in on this in any way. We were proved wrong because they put a resolution on their agenda for the meeting, sort of preempting us. The language of their resolution is a bit softer than we would like. It's a little both sidesy, It's more of a generic call for peace than it is for like a call for President Joe Biden to stop aiding and funding a genocide, So our plan now is to propose that they amend this resolution to make it a bit more pointed. But I think I'm pleasantly surprised that they're doing anything at all. So there is that.
Yeah.
So if you live around here and you support something like that, it would be nice to see you on Tuesday night, the 16th at Coralville City Hall. If you got the night off, come on out, try to do the right thing, I guess. I mentioned this earlier. Our phone number is 319-849-8733. If you are also one of the BINKY bros and you go out to a Republican caucus and you have a fun story, call and tell us about it. We can also be reached via snail mail, P.O. Box 5336 in Coralville, Iowa, 52241. And if you really like podcasts and you are a nerd who pays money for podcasts to get more podcasts, you could do that with us. Patreon.com/rockhardcaucus. Evan and I are planning to review all of the Slipknot albums as a Patreon series. We're in the planning stages right now, so I don't know when we'll be ready for that, but something to look forward to.
Hell yeah, rock on. My I don't know I'm not a new metal guy. Don't know how to address
we're not exactly
out there.
Yeah, we're not exactly like Slipknot guys, so I think our perspective, sort of an outsider perspective, may be interesting. We did it once before with their Iowa album, but now I think we're a bit more seasoned in the medium now, and we've seen Slipknot
live, yeah.
So we may have more to say. We may have a better understanding of the situation now.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to find out more about where we came from. And as, like the biggest cultural export of our fair state, we kind of have to understand Slipknot to understand ourselves.
I think that's right. Yeah. And maybe, who knows, at the end of this, maybe we will become maggots ourselves.
Yeah.
Ourselves. I think that's the term for Slipknot fans, right?
I'm already kind of there. I don't have anything against them.
Maybe
I do. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the more I find out.
Yeah. Anyway, look forward to that. And I think we haven't had any local music submissions in a while, so I'm going to close with the music that I just recorded for that upcoming Slipknot series. Well, I'll put that at the end of here. That'll be a bit of a teaser for you all. And I forgot to mention there are 2 candidates for the GOP nomination who are so irrelevant they are not even mentioned on the Wikipedia page of Republican candidates. That's Roland Roberts II, who's from West Virginia, and David Stuckenberg, who I already forgot everything I learned about him. So if you're looking for even lower candidates than Ryan Binky, try to go out and vote for those guys, Roland Roberts II and David Stuckenberg. If you want to be really cool, those are the guys.
So relevant that they're contained in the wrap-up section of
I
the
forget
podcast.
to mention them until we are about to stop recording, which I guess we can do now. So here it goes.
All right. Bye.